Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel for another episode of Designing Disney. Today we are tackling another cruise section, and this one involves Formal Night. So if you haven't seen the previous video I made, I'll have a playlist linked down below so you guys don't miss any Disney videos. But I also did an organization video, which I think I included in the playlist, but I'll have it also individually down there in case you guys did miss it. But it's about organizing your travel photos and album to be ready and set up for success. So you'll see that little post-it note flapping around, and that's because my fan was on. So that's slightly annoying, and I understand that. But let's get started with today's project. I'm pulling out some Pink Fresh Studio, DCWV, and Studio Calico papers, and I'm going to pull out a sketch. I recently made this sketchbook with inspiration from Janet over at RTS Scrapbooking, and she has the sketches all printed out, and I was like, well, I want sketches all printed out. So I printed mine out as well. And I did 4 to a page, so I didn't have to waste as much paper. And these ones are from, I believe her name is Laura Whitaker. If not, I'm so sorry. But she has beautiful sketches. And that's what I'm going to be working with today. And I'll show it to you a couple times too, so you can see what I'm going to be working with. So it's kind of at an angle for 2 photos. I only have 1 photo, but that's okay. And then it has a long title underneath the photos, and that's at an angle too. So this Pink Fresh Studio paper reminded me of bow ties, which is why I picked it out. And it's from the Dream On collection. And here's my attempt at showing you. It's called Fancy, which absolutely perfect for this attire. It's me and my boyfriend with Chip and Dale who are in tuxes, and then me and my boyfriend are also kind of dressed up. Not super dressed up, but you know, we're wearing stuff that's nice. And I have this photo of Chip and Dale. We met them before the show, and I'm just going to first mat that on some tissue paper. I believe this black and white tissue paper is from Cheeky Studio, but I'm not 100% sure where I got it from. I think it is Cheeky Studio. I won a giveaway from them a while back, and I kept the tissue paper. I'm also going to pull out some Pattern Happy papers. I did a collab with them for Spiegel Mom Scraps on International Scrapbooking Day a while back, so I have those to use, and they're all black and white. So this is going to be sort of like a black, white, and gold themed layout. I also have the die cuts from Simple Stories out. And first I'm going to mat this paper, which of course is like the first thing you probably should do, so nothing wiggles around on top of it. That's a definite thing that I'm going to do. And again, like I said, it looks like bow ties. And then the paper in the background is from DCWV's Minty Lace Stack, which is no longer available as far as I know in stores. I know it's not available online, so maybe it is available in stores. It depends on your store's availability. But I've had that for a while from a giveaway I won with them. They sent me like 5 paper stacks, and I'm still like using them and trying to get through them, and it's just, I can't believe I ever won that giveaway, but that was the best giveaway ever. I also don't remember how I won, but it was a good time. Now I'm trying to fix my ATG tape gun because the glue got caught up on itself and then it broke almost, and then anyway I got it because my tissue paper started falling apart. Tissue paper is very difficult to work with, and that's why I don't work with it very often, because I find it very difficult to work with. So I'm looking back at my sketch and see that it has some stars and elements to the left. I pull out a movie film strip, and then like a reel for a film strip, and then a camera. So those are, they're not like a bright gold, but they're metallic, so they do shine, which is nice. And now I'm pulling out some vellum. There's a long piece in the background of this sketch behind the photo section. I thought I was going to use one of these fancy ones from Pink Fresh Studio, but they were just a little too busy. So I ended up going with regular vellum. I bought this from the Paper Studio at Hobby Lobby when they had their clearance sale, and it has a very hard time focusing on the vellum, so I'm very sorry about that. It will go in and out of focus a little bit while I'm trying to cut that down and work with it. But it was only $1 for the 12 by 12 pack, which I believe has 10 or 12 sheets, which is a great deal. Honestly, vellum's really expensive, which is probably why most people don't use it. I think it's expensive. If you get it in a kit, it's less expensive, but just buying it on its own is quite expensive. But I got those during that sale, which was a great find. So now I have some vellum to kind of soften up the edges and let these elements kind of sit there without being overwhelmed. I also pulled out this tag. It was pre-made, but it's like a shaker pocket tag, which was sent to me by Susan, and you can pick those up at Hobby Lobby, although I think they are clearancing them out, so they won't be there for long. I also pulled out a bunch of other gold pieces, including Freckled Fawn glitter stars, which are from my current September kit. And then I also pulled out a gold and white polka dotted tag, which is also from my September kit. So really getting all the things in that I wanted to use. I'm even looking at some of my newer products. So this is definitely a mix of new and old. I'd say the oldest thing on this layout is probably the DCWV background paper or these freckled fawn stars. I got those around probably the same time, but again, I go through so many things now, I don't know. But around the same time, I'd say. This would have been a beautifully centered piece of washi tape if I hadn't gumbled it up all over itself. So it's a little off kilter, but that's okay. I end up kind of covering it up, so it doesn't really matter. And I also cut off a piece of that reel because I knew it'd be hidden, and since it's a beautiful like gold shiny thing, I just wanted to keep part of it for another layout perhaps. And like I said, tissue paper is not fun to work with for me, but I worked with it anyway. So first I glued it down to the vellum, and then I put glue where the items would be so you could not see it past the vellum. So that's a tip. Always glue down your items to the vellum first and then flip over and put glue on those behind those items so you can hide the glue, because that's kind of important because it looks really bad sometimes when you add tape adhesive or liquid adhesive behind vellum, which is just one of those things that comes with using vellum. So I glued down that tag, which takes up that entire cluster on that left side, essentially. I'm going to add a little bit to it later, some handwriting and stuff, which you'll see. But I'm going to try to build out this right side, starting with the film strip and then layering the camera with that, making sure the camera hole is off to the side so I can put something in it like this little star. And then putting down my little chipboard glitter stars here from Freckled Fawn, which are absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad I picked those up during one of their clearance sales. It was like $1 for the sheet of gold, silver, and blue glitter stars, which I absolutely love. And now I'm digging through more of my embellishments, and I decided not to use any. Here I pull out some eyelet outlet heart enamel shapes, and I featured these in my, I don't remember what the convention is. Convention, is that what it's called? It's a giant show where they sell scrapbooking items. I can't think of the word right now, but I think it's like Stamp and Scrap Art Tour. But I feature those in that video. And now I'm starting to look for items for my title. You know it's almost done when I start looking for a title. Of course, I have finishing touches, so don't worry. But I pull out these stickers, which I believe are by Dear Lizzie, not sure which collection. And I'm just going to name this Formal Night. This is like the only picture that we have with Chippendale now that I think about it, but I don't really have a story about Chippendale that I can at least remember, so I decided to just call it Formal Night. And this starts that whole section of the photos that we took while we're in our formal wear, which was a very fun time. And you'll be seeing more of those soon. So it says Formal Night, hence why we're all dressed up. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but I decided to name it that anyway. And like the sketch shows, the long title is on an angle. It kind of follows that line of the vellum that I laid down, which is kind of hard to see on camera, but it really does add a nice softening effect to the bow tie pattern paper. And since I'm using a black alphabet sticker, the black border also helps pop, so they kind of pop off of each other that way since I don't have too much black standing alone on this white background. And it really just pops, which is great. Now I'm looking for some finishing touches. I end up pulling the Studio Calico Star and Dot enamel set out, and it's absolutely perfect. They're very tiny. They're the perfect shade of black. You know how some blacks are like dark gray? This one's a good shade of black. And I know someone commented about using thin washi tape. I think it might have been Susanna, but this is how I'm going to use mine. I decided to border the little strips around each of my sides of my bow tie pattern paper, and it turned out pretty well, I thought. So far they're stuck down pretty well. I do trim the edges off so they're quite close together, so hopefully it helps them stick down together. But I know that Janet over at RTS said hers started to come up, but mine also don't go all the way to the edge. It's just on that very inner edge, so we'll see how they hold up. But that's it for this layout, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is one of my favorite ones so far, and there's the sketch by Laura. And I'll try to have her sketchbook linked down below in case you guys want it. But again, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know if you want to see anything specific coming up. But I really enjoyed this layout. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!